Hello, my name is Fenaretti and this is the Unpopular Opinions book tag. Just a small parenthesis before the video starts. I have left a link in the description below about the Black Lives Matter movement. Let's not make this be just a trend. Let's always find ways to improve the lives of black people and make them feel valued and respected in our societies. And also let's all make this matter by voting against racist governments. No matter where you're from, just always make sure that you use your vote and you vote for somebody who is not trash. Okay, so this tag has 9 questions, and question number 1 is a popular book series you don't like. I'm ready to just lose my subscribers over this, but I am not a fan of the Mortal Instruments series or the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. So hear me out, because I have reasons behind this. I think the universe that Cassandra Clare has built with the superpowers and the way that the magic system works and the character development and the character relationships and the plot overall is very interesting. My issue is not with the plot or the themes, but with the writing itself, meaning it's not good. And this is not just like a controversial opinion, it's just, you know, the writing is not good. It's not that deep. It's just hard for me to read books that are noticeably not well written. I remember reading the Mortal Instruments book 1 when I was a teenager, and I had such a huge issue with the book, and I needed to keep reading the same paragraphs again and again and again because I kept not understanding what was going on, and I thought it was because of my lack of understanding of English, but I never had that problem before or since then. I'm quite confident that it was because of the writing, because it doesn't flow elegantly enough. It's just not well written, you know. So with the Infernal Devices, I was actually really excited to get attached to this series, and I DNF'd it. And it was the only book I DNF'd for the whole year of 2019. It was just so poorly written. You know, when a writer doesn't know how to write to the point that they feel like every time you enter a room you need to know the texture of the floor, the texture of the walls, how the light shines through the windows. No, it's not necessary. This is a YA book. You need to know your genre and you need to write in a way that people don't forget what you're talking about. Like, you don't need 2 whole paragraphs describing every room you've ever been in. If you can make the exact replica of a room that's described in a book in your Sims, the book is doing something wrong. And that's why I think some writers should not write books, but they should write scripts, because I feel like it's much better if you are untalented as a narrator to actually write good plots. Because I don't think the plot or the characters or the dialogue was cringy. I mean, I don't know, I haven't read that much of her, but like, I feel like the issue was with her lack of talent in that specific area of writing. Question number 2, a book or series that many people don't like but you love. So for that, I didn't know what my answer would be, because I tend to like things that are liked and I tend to hate things that are hated. The other day I was on Goodreads reading some reviews for some of my favorite books, and I realized that The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is extremely hated. I don't really get why. I feel like sometimes people tend to hate things that are smart. I think that there is always a very clear difference between a pretentious writer and a smart writer, and I feel like smart writers get a lot of hate because some people mistake them as pretentious. I feel like the story is simple enough and written well enough, and I don't get why people hate it. Question number 3, a love triangle where the main character ended up with the person you didn't want them to. So the first couple that popped into my head was Katniss with Peeta. I don't think that they should have ended together. I think she would have been better on her own or with Gale. This might be an outdated opinion because I haven't read the series since I was 16, and I feel like if Gale had an ugly actor playing him, maybe I wouldn't have the same opinion. But because Liam Hemsworth looks so good next to Jennifer, and because Josh Hutcherson does not look compatible with Jennifer in any capacity, but I remember even in the books I preferred Gale. He was more masculine. I don't like soft boys. I'm sorry, maybe it's just my personal taste. I just like people who are independent. Question number 4, a popular genre that you hardly reach for. I don't think it's gonna be surprising to anyone that I don't read thrillers. I am extremely easily spooked out. The more I age, the easier it is actually for me to get spooked out. So I feel like I would never intentionally read a thriller. That's why I've never read Stephen King. The only book of Stephen King that I would ever be interested in reading is like The Body, which is like based in the movie Stand By Me. And I also don't really particularly like sci-fi. I don't think I've ever read sci-fi, but I am interested in reading like Ender's Game or Dune. I mean, Dune looks so massive and I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe I would check it out if I like the movie. And apart from that, like, I don't like action. Anytime there is action, like especially in movies, like my brain just goes to sleep. Every time there's too much noise and no dialogue, I just zone out. Like, I'm looking at the screen, but like, I'm not following the action. I'm just not following. I'm just so uninterested and unchallenged when I just watch something that's with action. I'm surprised to this day that I like Marvel and that I like Star Wars, because they're so action based, but I don't know, the characters are so strong that I don't even mind the action, so maybe that says a lot. Question number 5, a popular or beloved character that you don't like. Okay, so for this I think I have a controversial opinion. I don't like Simon. I think Simon is dumb.
Okay, so originally my answer was Simon from Carry On, because especially in the second book, his character was the worst. He was so annoying, like what a whiny baby. I just couldn't deal with him. But no, I have to change my answer because I just remembered from the book The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Fucking Monty, oh my god, what a fucking absolute moron. I hated him. He ruined the entire book. He made every single bad decision a character could possibly make. He was the stupidest damsel in distress. He was so dumb. Oh my god, I wanted to choke the bitch. Imagine reading a book where a character has never made a right decision in the whole book. Like, if there was no love story, would absolutely anyone, and I mean anyone, enjoy the book for the plot?
Question number 6, an author that you can't seem to get into. Everybody and their mom has been talking about Brandon Sanderson, and I had never heard of him before watching YouTube videos, and I tried to listen to the audiobook of The Final Empire. Like, I think the first chapter had so much world building and you weren't introduced to a character that I just DNF'd it. I just couldn't move past it. It was just so boring, like such a slow start. Maybe I should have started from a different book. If you like him, comment down below what book is the least boring and most character driven for me to try out. Question number 7, a popular book trope you're tired of seeing. Generally, I don't mind tropes so much, apart from, you know, that girl that in her whole narration she tells us constantly how ugly she is, but then every male character she accidentally glances towards is just in love with her and just dies for her, and I'm like, well, something does not compute. Like, something doesn't make sense. You cannot be ugly as fuck and then have everybody love you. So you have to either embrace your ugliness and be rejected multiple times within a book until somebody loves you for who you are, for it to matter that you keep talking about how ugly you are, or just be pretty and self-aware. Because if you're actually pretty, you know it. Just embrace your ugliness and just be rejected. And it's also bad for girls to see a character who just hates themselves, and the only moment that they will love themselves is when a pretty boy tells them that they're pretty. Like, don't you see the problem there? You should love yourself the way that you are, even if you aren't as pretty, and even if the pretty boy doesn't think of you as pretty. And also, I have a huge issue with like ugly characters, like only liking people out of their league. Like, how dare you be so hypocritical to demand somebody who is gorgeous to like you, but you yourself ignore people who are at the same level of beauty as you and below. Like, how dare you? Fucking hypocrite. Shut up. Shut up. Question number 8. A popular book series you have no interest in reading. For that I would have to say Throne of Glass and Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I would never be interested in reading these books because they're just bad. I just don't like reading bad books, and apart from that I would read them to make fun of them, but Cindy has already done like a much better job than I would ever be able to achieve, so there's no point for me to just read bad books for no reason. I won't find any pleasure out of it, so I'm just not gonna read them. I'm sorry. Like, you can love them as much as you want to. I'm not judging you. It's just my opinion, and I'm sorry. And finally, for question number 9, we have, what movie or TV show adaptation is better than the book? I am not one of those people that always is like, oh, the book is better. Like, no, if the movie is good, I'm gonna be satisfied with the movie. I understand the concept of excluding details that aren't necessary, or even entire characters, when you are trying to create an engaging film for people who have not read the book. That's the point of you making a film. You're not making it for the readers, you're making it for the audience that's never gonna read the book. So that's a huge, huge difference there. But to answer the question, I would have to say The Island by Victoria Hislop. Like, this is the kind of book that a mom would read. That's maybe why you haven't heard of it, but it has sold like 5 million copies. Like, this is like a historical romance that's set in Greece, but it was written by an English writer, and I love the concept of this book. It's about leprosy, and there is this island called Spinalonga where all the people that have leprosy are sent away from their families and they can never see their families ever again. But the TV show delivered infinitely times better, like infinitely better. You cannot imagine how exceptional that TV show is. It's one of my favorite TV shows ever. I wish so much that Netflix at some point will like buy the rights to distribute the TV show, because it's a crime that not many people have watched it. Like only Greek people have watched it, and it's so sad because the TV show did such an exceptional job, and this book like falls into the same category as like Cassandra Clare. Great concept, great plot, just poor writing. Not everybody is meant to be a writer at the end of the day. Like not everybody has the gift. That's why I love adaptation so much, because they can take something and elevate it. Everything is amazing about it, and I love the soundtrack so freaking much, and I love the love stories as well. They're so pure, and it's tragic as well. My dream is to adapt my own books into movies, so I always love to see any sort of like movie adaptation. I just always like to judge it harshly. So that was the end of the video. Did I create any new words? Am I getting cancelled over this? I'm really sorry about that. Comment down below which things I said really triggered you and which things you really are disappointed by. And if you agree on anything that I said, oh my god, please comment, support me, I need your help. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye!
Mama!
Well, you know what happened? I tried to sit better in my own chair. I tried to sit up in my own chair, and by using my own leg to balance myself, I twisted it, and now it hurts so bad. I'm laying on my bed and I'm in pain, and my mom is at the pharmacy. So yeah, that just gives you a massive understanding of who I am as a person and what I'm capable of. So thank you. Bye. I wanted to be selfish with this post-credit scene, and instead of trying to develop my personality and make you like me more, I wanted to beg you for fruits for Animal Crossing. I do not have pears and I do not have oranges. Do you play Animal Crossing? Please, let's swap fruit, please. I really want oranges and pears. And that's what happens when you're selfish. That's what happens. I'm really sorry. Well, that was everything. Thank you so much. Bye!